Hi, my name's Sarah DeBorre and welcome to Sarah DeBorre Yoga. I am practicing outside in front of the shed that I currently call home while my husband and I are building a house out here in regional Victoria. You might see Jessie dog in the background having a snooze. Hi Jess. Max is over here by the wood pile in his favourite hole that he has dug. He's digging down below the footings of the shed to find cool earth. We are going to be coming through a Vinyasa flow today, focusing on strong legs and strong shoulders. And we are going to be doing a lot of planks and dolphins and so forth. We're actually going to start in high plank, but before we get into it, what we're going to start with is something called a serratus anterior push-up. And this is something that I actually learnt from one of my favorite yoga teachers, Duncan Yoga, also on YouTube. I love his classes. They generally always kick my butt. And I really like this one because the serratus anterior is this muscle that wraps around the sides of our ribs. So it comes from the back and it wraps around the sides, and it's serratus because it is this serrated muscle that attaches to all of these ribs. And I've been really trying to work on strengthening my shoulders to bounce back from a little bit of a shoulder injury. So remember, at any point, if something doesn't feel right, then please modify or come down to child's pose, which is always available to you in the practice. We will get ready though to come into our high plank. I might just get this hair quickly out of my face. And in our high plank, we want our hands underneath our shoulders. We want to be pushing some even weight. What's that under my mat? Get out, rock. Sorry everyone, should have checked that earlier. We want to be stacking our shoulders above our wrists. We're pushing weight through our heels, zipping up the belly. Now these serratus anterior push-ups that I'm talking about, we're going to really push through our hands so that we dome. And then we're staying in high plank, but we're just allowing our shoulders to draw in together and the back drops. So we protract by pushing up and retract the shoulder blades by dropping down just a little bit and pinching them together. Pushing up and lowering down. Now you can do these from your knees. You can untuck your toes and do the exact same thing from here. So we just push up through the shoulders and then we bring the shoulder blades together. We push up so it domes through the upper back and then bring the shoulder blades together as the back drops a little. Let's do 3 more. Doming and then bringing the shoulder blades together. Doming, shoulder blades together. 1 more. And from our high plank, arms come down to our forearm plank. You might need to adjust that stance. Heels push back. Gaze is between your forearms on the mat. Lower belly draws in and up. Don't forget to breathe. Legs are strong here. We're pushing back through the heels. Gentle tuck of the tailbone. And then let's slowly lower down to our belly into our Sphinx pose. Untuck the toes, toenails push into the mat or to the earth. And breath in. Let's really work to push our elbows into the mat while we draw our chest between our biceps. Fingers are spread nice and wide and they're plugging down into the mat. Maybe shutting down the eyes here. Your kneecaps should be off of the mat because you're plugging those toes in and glutes are engaged. One more breath here. And on the exhale, big toes to touch, knees come out wide, hips go back, Balasana child's pose. I want this to be an active child's pose, so lifting up onto the fingertips so that you're tenting those hands and the arms are off of the mat. Let's walk those hands now over to the right. And let's make sure that we draw that left sit bone down towards the heel so that we really feel that stretch all the way through the left side body. And walking the hands back through center and over to the left side. Right hip pulls down towards the right heel. Feeling that nice stretch all the way through the right side. Hands walk back through center and coming to our tabletop. Hands are directly underneath those shoulders, knees in line with hips. Breath in to dip the belly, gaze comes up, and exhale to tuck everything under. Breath in, dips the belly, gaze lifts, and exhale to tuck everything under. Breath in, dip the belly. And in this, I really want you to think about drawing those shoulder blades in and down the back. And then exhale, tucking everything under, really tucking that tailbone under. Once more, breath in, dip the belly, really squeeze those shoulder blades together, draw them down the back. And tucking everything under. Coming back to neutral, let's tuck the toes, walk ourselves back into our toe squat, make sure that our little toe gets in on this action. Remembering if this is too much, you can lift up any amount. Breath in, arms reach up overhead, and exhale, cactus open the arms, maybe taking a gentle back bend. Breath in, right arm comes underneath the left, eagle wrap of the arms, palms to touch, or alternatively back of the hands to touch, or you can take hold of opposite elbows. Let's breathe in and lift those elbows a little higher, but making sure that we're not bringing those shoulders up towards our ears. Shoulders drop, elbows lift. Draw that belly in and up. And exhale to unravel the arms up and overhead. And exhale, we cactus the arms once again. This time, left arm comes underneath the right, taking that eagle wrap of the arms. There goes Bobby Martin, our rooster. Breath in, lift those elbows, making sure the shoulders aren't coming up near your ears. And releasing the arms. They reach up and overhead. Hands come back to the mat, and then we just pitter-patter out the toes. So giving the toes a little massage after all that work. Coming back into neutral, right arm extends, left leg shoots back. Left glute fires on. Breath in. And exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to extend. And exhale, elbow comes to knee. Inhale to extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to reach back out. The leg stays lifted, but the right hand comes back to the mat. Let's kickstand our right shin out to 45, and left arm reaches to the sky into our supported side plank. Let's take a gentle turn of the big toe on the left foot down towards the mat so that we internally rotate that leg. And we'll tent onto the fingers of the right hand. So the right palm is lifted, we're on the fingertips. And what we're aiming for is we're coming into gate. So the left sole of the foot is going to come down to the mat, right fingers lift up into the sky, left hand slides down the left leg. So once again, we're stretching through the left side body. And from here, bringing that right hand to the hip, we're going to step the left foot in so that it's underneath the knee. That left foot is pointing towards the back of the mat, and the left forearm now comes to rest on top of the left thigh. Right arm sweeps up and overhead into our modified side angle. So really working to spiral the chest open so that the gaze comes under the armpit. And you should feel that nice opening through the inner seam of the left leg. Bringing the right hand back to the mat, the right shin will pivot back, simple twist. Making sure that that right leg is really firing on. Gaze can be up towards those left fingertips, or you can bring it down to the mat. And let's windmill this top arm around to the mat and all the way back up to the sky. Let's do that again. All the way to the back of the mat and up to the sky. And now hand comes around to the back and we frame that front foot. Runner's lunge. Breath in, beam the heart forward. And on the exhale, let's take the hands to the inside of that left foot and we walk ourselves into a wide-legged forward fold. So feet are parallel, slightly pigeon-toed. Breath in, half lift, and exhale to fold. Making sure that your fingers are in line with the big toes. Go away, Mr. Bullant. Breath in, half lift, and let's walk ourselves back to the top of the mat, back to our runner's lunge. Breath in, beam the heart forward, and exhale, drop the knee, arms reach up, low lunge. We're taking a prayer of the hands above the head, and let's hinge at the elbows. Go away, fly. And then we're going to breathe in, beam that heart forward, taking a gentle back bend. So remembering keeping that left glute engaged is going to help with our stability. I guess this is what I get for doing a class once the sun has really come out and the flies are out. Arms reach back up and overhead, and exhale, they sweep behind us into our half Hanuman. Right leg straightens, right toes are flexed, and hands can be at the mat, back toes can be tucked, but if your hands are in our arrowhead arms, or our arms are in arrowhead arms, then I really want you to think about drawing those shoulder blades together. Palms are face down. Breath in, bending through that front knee, arms sweep overhead, low lunge. And exhale, hands to the mat. Let's tuck the back toes and right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Breath in, ripple forward, high plank. And taking a three-legged flow, lower chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or baby cobra. And exhale back to our downward facing dog. Breathing in, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, in, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. Breath in, bend your knees, exhale, draw the belly up, and let's step to the top of our mat. Breath in, half lift, and exhale to fold. Let's take hold of opposite elbows here and just let go through the head and shoulders, or head and neck should I say, maybe swaying from side to side. Release the arms to the mat, inhale, half lift, and exhale to plant the hands, stepping back to our high plank. Lower chaturanga, inhale to up dog, and exhale back to down dog. Breathing in and out. Rippling forward to our high plank. Let's drop our knees, untuck the toes, and coming back to our tabletop. This time, left arm extends and right leg shoots back behind us. And breathing in, exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to extend, and exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to extend, and exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to extend, left hand comes to the mat, and now the left shin kickstands out to our 45 degrees, supported side plank, right arm lifts to the sky, lower belly draws in, and just taking that gentle turn of the right big toe so that our foot is parallel to the mat and there's that slight internal rotation. Right foot comes to the mat. We tent up onto the fingers of the left hand, and then we use the strength of our belly to come up into gate. So left hand reaches to the sky as the right hand slides down the leg. So we're feeling that nice stretch all the way through the side body, looking underneath the left armpit. And then left hand comes to the hip. We bring that right foot in so that it's roughly underneath the right knee here, but we keep that leg bent. So the left leg is bent, right forearm comes to the top of the right thigh, left arm sweeps up and overhead into our modified side angle. So you should really feel this through, there's a few areas here. So the inside seam of the right leg, and maybe even along the outside of that left hip, and certainly through the side body, which we're opening up. Left hand comes down to the mat. We swing that left shin back out, toes come to the mat, and we lift into our simple twist, right arm to the sky. Gaze can be up at the right fingers or down towards the mat. And we'll take some of those windmills with that right arm, so to the back of the mat, all the way to the front and up and over. And on this final windmill around, that hand will come down to the mat. We'll bring it to the inside of the right foot, and then we're going to walk ourselves around to the center of the mat. That right foot comes in, feet are parallel. Inhale, half lift, and exhale to fold. Hands should be roughly underneath your face. And arm variations here are welcome. So you might like to take hold of the back of the ankles or the toes. Make sure your elbows are pointing outwards as you draw yourself into the fold. And inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold a little deeper. Inhale, half lift. And this time let's walk ourselves to the top of the mat, runner's lunge. Breath in to beam that heart forward. And on the exhale, the right knee drops, the toes untuck, low lunge as the arms sweep to the sky. Hands come to prayer above the head. And on the exhale, we hinge at the elbows, taking the prayer to the back of the neck. Maybe the gaze lifts, right glute is active. You can tuck the back toes for extra support here. Hands sweep back to the sky. And on the exhale, we straighten through the front leg and the arms come back into arrowhead, half Hanuman. Really flexing those left toes towards the left shin. And hands can come to the mat for extra support here, as can the back toes can be tucked as well. But if you've got the arms sweeping back, then again, we're really drawing those lower shoulder blades together. Breath in, bending back through the left knee, arms sweep back overhead, low lunge. And exhale, hands frame the front foot. We tuck the back toes, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Breath in, ripple forward to high plank, and exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or baby cobra, and exhale, back to downward facing dog. Breathing in, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, in, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. Breath in, bend your knees, exhale, pull up through the belly and either step or lightly hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift, and exhale to fold. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing, arms reach up and overhead, and exhale, hands through heart center. Breath in, arms reach up, and let's hinge at the right elbow. The right hand is going to come down between our shoulder blades, and the left hand is just going to rest on top of that elbow. Really draw the belly in, engage the glutes, and on the exhale, just leaning over to the right, or the left, should I say, not the right. Don't listen to me muddling up my lefts and rights. Inhale, back up through center, arms reach back overhead, and this time left elbow bends, and we take hold of the top of that left elbow with the right hand, glutes engage, belly draws in, and we lean over to the right. Feeling that nice side body stretch. Inhale, back up through center, arms reach overhead, and exhale, hands back to our Anjali Mudra. Setting up for our Utkatasana chair pose. So feet can be either hip distance, or you can bring the big toe mounds to touch. I'm going to keep mine hip distance today because there's something underneath my mat that's in the way there. So let's prepare. Breath in, sweep the mat as we bend the knees and we sit back into our chair. Lower belly draws in, tailbone tucks under, and let's really work to draw those biceps up around our ears. On the next exhale, we're staying in chair, but the arms are going to sweep back behind us and interlace the hands. So fingers interlace, we make that little fist with our hands and we pull the shoulders back. So really opening up through the fronts of the shoulders here, drawing that belly in and up. And on the exhale, keeping the bind, we fold forward. Maybe having a bend in those knees, as generous a bend as feels comfortable for your hammies, and releasing any tension in the head, neck or shoulders. We draw those hands up and over our back. Hands release to the mat. Inhale, half lift, and exhale to fold. Stepping back one leg at a time into our high plank. And then lowering right arm down, left arm down, forearm plank. Glutes are engaged. Lower belly draws in. Let's walk our feet in to our dolphin. You can have a bend in those knees, but we really want to push those forearms down into the mat as we draw the chest between our biceps. Taking a bend in the knees is going to help here. We're going to try and push up into our down dog. So maybe both hands push off at the same time and both elbows lift, or you do one at a time. You might need to readjust your stance as well once you get back up to your down dog. And once we're here, breath in, right leg lifts. Exhale, right knee comes towards the right elbow, but we set that foot down behind the right wrist. Left foot comes out to 45 degrees, warrior one. Hips square to the front of the mat. And exhale, hands come back down to the mat. Stepping back to our high plank. We lower one forearm down, then the other. We're still breathing here in our forearm plank. Now let's walk those feet in back to our dolphin. We're really working to draw that chest between the arms and pushing it back while our forearms press into the mat. Bending through the knees. Maybe it's one hand at a time, maybe it's both. Back to our down dog. From our down dog, breath in, left leg lifts, and exhale, left knee comes towards the left elbow, but the left foot settles down onto the mat behind the left wrist. Right foot turns out to 45, warrior one. Squaring those hips to the front of the mat. And exhale, hands come back down to the ground. Let's step back into our high plank, either coming back to down dog or taking a vinyasa flow. Lower chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or baby cobra. And exhale back to our down dog. Breath in, bend the knees. Exhale, pull up through the belly and step or lightly jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift, and exhale to fold. Fingers sweep the mat and we sit back into our chair pose. Tucking the tailbone, drawing the belly in. One more breath here. And inhale, come to standing, hands by your side, Tadasana. Maybe closing down the eyes to take a few moments of standing meditation. And just bringing the breath back. Setting those feet up for another round of Utkatasana. We've got to work that booty after all. Let's sweep our fingertips across the mat as we sit back into our chair pose. So tailbone tucks, belly draws in. But this time I want the arms to sweep back into our arrowhead arms. So like we did with our half Hanuman. Go away, fly. Don't mind me shaking my head and ponytail. Palms are facing down. We're really drawing those shoulder blades together. Belly draws in and up. Let's take the weight into the right foot and we're going to slowly come onto the ball of the left foot. Maybe we hobble that foot off of the mat and we kick it back slowly and with control. We're landing in arrowhead, so take your time. Maybe your leg hovers in the air before the toes touch down. You might need to readjust your stance. And inhale, arms come overhead, high crescent lunge. Immediately, hands to prayer above the head, and exhale, bending the elbows, taking that prayer behind the back of the neck. Breath in, straightening a little through the front leg, and exhale, left knee comes to hover off of the mat. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, left knee hovers. We're really drawing those elbows together. Sorry about my wobbles, it's the flies. Exhale, left knee hovers on the mat. And inhale to come back up, releasing the arms and hinging at the hips to come down to our pyramid. Right hip pulls back, left hip crease faces forward. Breath in, half lift, and exhale to fold. Now you can be high on the ball of the back foot, or you can step that foot in to 45 and shorten your stance. The option is there for you. But if you're high on the ball of the back foot, then we're staying super high. Back heel is really lifted. Breath in to bend back through that front knee, runner's lunge. You might need to readjust the feet. And exhale, hands back, arrowhead. Shifting the weight into the right foot. The left toes become light, warrior three. Engaging that left glute. Maybe hands come to prayer or they reach out in front. One more breath here. Slowly with control, we're going to bring this into half moon. So we're going to open up really slowly through that left hip. Right fingertips come down to the ground. Left arm reaches to the sky. We're just here for a moment before we slowly settle that back foot down to the mat into our warrior two. Immediately, let's straighten the front leg, reverse triangle. Whew, that right leg got a little bit of a workout, didn't it? And setting up for our Trikonasana, triangle pose, arms come out to a T. Breathe in, reach forward for length, and exhale, right hand comes down to the inside of the right leg, left arm reaches to the sky. Once again, we're really drawing those shoulder blades in. Glutes are active. There's a micro bend in the front knee. And the gaze can be either up towards the fingertips or down to the mat, whatever's going to be better for your neck. On the next inhale, right arm reaches for the sky, reverse triangle. And let's bend that elbow, take the hand behind the back. Maybe we take the full Gomukhasana grip. And if you've got that, we're just really leaning into that left leg. So we're opening through the front of the right hip. And if you've got the Gomukhasana grip, I want you to keep that, otherwise hands to heart center. We're going to just start bending through the left knee, coming onto the heel of the right foot, Skandasana at the back of the mat. So maybe you've still got the Gomukhasana grip, but I don't want you to be hunched over. So back is nice and straight. If this is compromising your shape, then please bring your hands to the mat or to prayer. Right toes are lifted, they're super engaged. Releasing the grip of the hands if you've got it. Right hand comes down to the mat. We spin onto the ball of the right foot. Left arm to the sky, simple twist. That right leg is super strong. And we're going to come to the outer blade edge of the right foot as we step back into our side plank. Really rainbowing up through the hips. And left forearm comes down to the mat as we come over into our forearm side plank on the left side. So rolling over the top of the feet, right arm lifts to the sky. Maybe you try a forearm wild thing. If that's the case, right leg lifts, bending at the knee, and stepping the foot just off of the back of the mat. Right forearm comes down to the mat as we come back over to our forearm plank, should I say, not forearm side plank. Let's walk the toes in, back into our dolphin. And let's keep it a bit of a wider stance, bend the knees, and let's push up to our downward facing dog. And breath in, right leg lifts. And exhale, right knee taps right elbow. Inhale, send it back. Right knee taps right elbow again. Send it back. Right knee to chest, stepping that foot between our hands, puffing the chest forward, runner's lunge. And now bringing that right hand inside that right foot. You might need to heel toe that right foot over a little bit. We're coming into our lizard lunge, so maybe taking some gentle movements here. And then dropping down onto the back knee. So keeping that right knee hugging in towards the right shoulder. If twisted monkey is within your practice, then you might like to move into that. Coming up onto the left fingertips can be helpful to give you a little bit more length as you then lift the left leg and the right arm sweeps back to find hold of that left foot. And if you're in that twisted monkey, then we're on the outer blade edge of the right foot. And we're really kicking into the right hand. We're working that twist, so opening through that shoulder. Otherwise, we're in any variation of lizard that feels good for your body. If you're in twisted monkey, releasing the clasp of the foot without slingshotting, hands come back inside the right foot. We tuck the back toes and lift the knee into our high lizard. And then we're going to slowly walk ourselves back to the top edge of the mat, so where we originally started. Back to lizard on this side, so hands are both inside that front leg. Maybe we stay here. This could be enough for you. You might like to drop down to the forearms, but otherwise we're looking to maybe dive that left arm underneath the left leg. So we work to bring that left shoulder into that knee crease. Maybe you stay here and extend your arms into wings. Maybe you just keep the hands on the mat for support, or maybe you even look for the bind. So the left arm binds underneath that leg. And if you've got that bind, really focusing on a point on your mat for stability. The back leg is strong. One more breath here. Releasing your hands if you're in the bind and stepping back to our downward facing dog. From down dog, you can take a flow, or you can rest in down dog or in child's pose. And breath in, ripple forward, high plank. Knees on or off, lower chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or baby cobra. And exhale back to down dog. Taking 5 breaths either in down dog or coming down to your knees to rest in child's pose. Maybe it's time to have a quick drink. I know I need a little drink before we get onto the other side. Well done if you've spent this whole time in down dog. If you're in child's pose and you'd like to join us, then please push back up to down dog. And breath in, bend your knees. Exhale, draw the belly in and up, and then step or lightly hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift, and exhale to fold. Inhale, arms reach all the way up and overhead. And exhale, hands through Heart Center, Anjali Mudra. Either the big toe mounds to touch, and with the slight gap between the heels, or feet are hip distance apart. We're bending at the knees, sitting our butt back into chair pose. There's the tuck of the tailbone. Lower belly draws in and up. Arms sweep overhead just for a moment. Before we exhale, sweep them back into our arrowhead arms. Really drawing those shoulder blades together, palms face down. This time we're shifting the weight into the left foot. Maybe first we come onto the ball of the right foot. So we're aiming to keep low in our original chair as we kick the right leg behind us. So we hover on one foot, right leg shoots back behind. Maybe it finds some air time before it steps back, arrowhead. You might need to readjust those legs. And on the inhale, arms sweep overhead, crescent lunge. Hands to prayer above the head, hinging at the elbows, prayer comes to the back of the neck. Let's straighten through the front leg. And on the exhale, right knee comes to hover off of the mat. Inhale to come back up. And exhale, right knee dips down towards the mat. Inhale, back up. And once more, right knee comes to the mat. Elbows are hugging in and calming straight back up. Arms reach up and overhead. We straighten the front leg and we hinge at the hips, fingertips come to the mat into our pyramid. So maybe we're high on the ball of the back foot. You might like to step it in a little bit to shorten your stance, or even bring the sole of the foot to the mat, whichever you prefer. If you're staying high on the ball of the back foot, then really keeping that heel high. Left hip crease pulls back, right hip forward. Breath in, half lift, and exhale to fold. So really feeling that nice opening through the back of the left leg. On breath in, let's bend that left knee, or runner's lunge. And exhale, arms sweep back, arrowhead, pinching those shoulder blades together, palms face down. Shifting the weight forward into the left foot, the right toes become light and they hover off of the mat, warrior three. Remember, you have options with the arms, so they can be at prayer or extended, taking whatever choice is going to work for your body today. But really engaging the right glute, belly draws in, toes are flexed on the right foot, and the right hip comes down a little. Now we're working into our transition to warrior two, so we're coming through our half moon, which means we need to really slowly, with control and laser focus, open up the right hip, left fingertips come down to the ground as the right hand reaches to the sky. Those right toes are still flexed, the right glute is really switched on. And then slowly, with control, we're bending through that left knee, right foot lowers down to the mat, warrior two, and instantly straighten through that left leg, left arm reaches overhead, reverse triangle. Whew. Coming back upright, arms to a T, setting up for our triangle trikonasana. Let's reach forward for length and exhale. Left arm comes inside that left leg, right arm to the sky. There's a gentle tuck of the tailbone, belly draws in, shoulder blades draw together. But shoulders are away from the ears. Gaze can be up at the fingers, the right fingers, or down towards the left fingers. And using the strength of our core, we're going to bring this into reverse triangle. So left arm reaches for the sky, right arm or right hand down the leg, and we hinge at that left elbow to bring the right hand down our back. So maybe there's the full Gomukhasana grip, but if that's not available to you, then you can just keep that hand down and you can be reaching. It doesn't matter if your fingertips don't touch. You can actually even just grab hold of your t-shirt or your shirt. I'm really leaning back to open through that side body. And if you've got the grip of the fingers, then try and keep those as we come to Skandasana at the back of the mat. So we bend through the right knee as we come onto the heel of the left foot. You might need to pivot those toes out a little bit to face the back corner of the mat. And if you've still got the Gomukhasana grip, then we're not hunching over. We're really keeping that chest nice and proud. Belly draws in. Do not keep this grip at the expense of your back, so please bring your hands to heart center or down to the mat. So if your hands are not already on the mat in Skandasana, we bring our hands to the mat and we walk ourselves around. The back foot pivots onto the ball, left hand on the mat, right arm to the sky, simple twist. Really engaging that left glute. Gaze can be up towards the fingertips or down at the mat. And dropping to the outer knife blade edge of the left foot, gaze comes back to the mat and we step back in to our side plank. Really pushing up through the hips so that we rainbow up through the hips. toes are flexed towards the shins. And now into our forearm side plank, right forearm down. We come on to the right outer blade edge of the feet, left arm to the sky. Maybe we step it into our forearm wild thing. Ooh. Wobbles are fine. We can't always be graceful. And left forearm comes down to the mat. Back to our forearm plank. Tailbone tucks under, belly draws in and up. Let's walk those feet in to dolphin. And maybe we push up one hand at a time or both hands. A bend in the knees will help. Back to our downward dog. You might need to readjust your stance. And breath in, ripple forward, high plank. Knees on or off, lower chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or baby cobra. And exhale back to our downward facing dog. And breath in, left leg lifts. And exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, shoot it back. Exhale, left knee taps left elbow. Inhale, shoot it back. And left foot this time steps outside the left hand, lizard lunge. Maybe taking some gentle movement here before we drop the right knee down to the mat. You might like to come down to your forearms, or just staying on your hands here is perfectly fine. Bringing that left knee in to hug against the left tricep. You might like to take twisted monkey. If that's the case, coming onto the right fingertips will help with that transition. Drawing that right heel in towards the butt. We come onto the outer blade edge of the left foot as the left arm sweeps back in search of that left foot. And if you've got hold of that foot, then we're really sort of kicking into that foot as we flex the left toes towards the shin. And taking that gaze over the left shoulder. Releasing the foot without slingshotting it. Hand comes back to the mat inside the left foot. So back to our low lizard. Let's tuck the right toes and push up to our high lizard lunge. Walking ourselves now around to the top edge of the mat and back into high lizard at the front of the mat. Breath in to beam that heart forward a little. And then let's settle back into our lizard. So you might just stay here in our high lizard. You might like to drop down to your forearms. But if you're testing your balance, then we are trying to bring that right shoulder underneath the knee crease on the right leg. So we're really working to draw that shoulder in behind that leg, any amount. So you might just stay here. Otherwise, you might like to open your arms out into wings, or alternatively, look for the bind. And we're holding here for 3 breaths. Releasing the bind, hands come back inside the feet. Let's step back to our downward facing dog. Maybe taking one final flow or resting in down dog. Breath in, ripple forward to high plank. Knees on or off, we lower, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog or baby cobra. And exhale back to our downward facing dog. And dropping the knees down to the mat, untucking the toes. Let's walk ourselves back into a kneeling position just to take a few breaths. well, it's nice to take a little bit of a rest after all that hard work. We'll come through some just cool down exercises now. We'll start on our tummies. So let's lower down all the way to our belly. And our right arm is going to come out to the ground, palm face down. We'll use the left hand underneath our shoulder to roll into a twist. So feeling that nice opening through the front of the right shoulder. You might like to take hold of the left ankle with your hand, but it's more than enough just to stay where you are. So if you're taking hold of that ankle, it's just coming into a quad stretch at the same time. Releasing the leg if you've got hold of that, rolling back onto your tummy and switching it up to the other side. So the left arm extends long, face down, right hand underneath the right shoulder, and then we use that hand to push ourselves open as the right foot steps behind the leg. Or it can just rest on top, whatever is comfortable for you. Maybe taking hold of the ankle to stretch through that quad. Releasing the ankle if you have that, and rolling back onto your tummy. Let's push back into our child's pose just for a moment before we walk ourselves back up into our kneeling position. We're going to come through our half hero. So it might be helpful for you to walk yourselves a little bit more forward, so maybe into the middle of the mat. And our left leg is going to extend long in front of us. We bring our butt to the ground. And so this right leg is staying bent, so bent at the knee. We'll shift some weight over onto that left hip. And then we want to grab that calf muscle and roll it out to the right as we sit back down. Now, this might be more than enough for you here, sitting up nice and straight. But otherwise, we can lower down any amount. So maybe you come down to your elbows and make sure that you tuck that tailbone under. You might come all the way down to your back. If you've reclined back onto your back, then making sure you press back up really gently. And once we're up and seated, we'll just bend through that left knee and bring the left sole of the foot inside the right leg. So breath in to sit nice and tall, arms reach up and overhead, and exhale, left hand comes down to the mat, right hand comes to the outside of that right thigh, and we work ourselves into the twist. So breath in, sitting nice and tall, and exhale, twisting a little deeper. Keeping that hand where it is. Let's make sure it's planted on the mat. We're coming through a variation of stargazer. So we press into both shins, right arm lifts to the sky, we open through those hips. And on the exhale, the butt comes back down to the mat. Let's stretch those legs long in front of us, give them a little wiggle. We'll come through a reverse tabletop before we set up for the other side. So feet are down on the mat, fingers pointing towards our butt and just behind us. We breathe in to push into the feet and lift up into our reverse tabletop. Belly draws in, really pushing through those hands to lift up. Glutes are engaged. And exhale, lowering that butt back down to the mat. This time we're bending through the left knee. So the left heel comes back behind in line with the butt and the right leg is extended. So this is our half hero's pose. Let's just shift some weight onto that right hip and we'll use our left hand to draw that calf out. So we're looking to roll that left calf out to the left side so that it creates some space as we settle our butt back down. So we really want our sit bones both on the mat here. So maybe we stay here, or maybe after sitting up nice and tall, we slowly lower back down any amount, maybe just onto our forearms, maybe making it all the way down to the mat. Taking your time to come out of this and make your way back up to seated. Once we're there, we're bending through that right knee and bringing the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left leg. Breath in, arms reach up and overhead. And the exhale, right hand comes to settle on the mat behind that right glute. The left hand, go away fly, these flies are relentless. The left hand is on the outside of that right thigh and we use that to pull ourselves into that twist. So we lever ourselves off of that leg. Breath in to sit nice and tall and exhale to twist a little deeper. We're going to come into our modified stargazer once again, so that right hand stays where it is. It plants on the mat, the shins push down into the ground, and the left arm sweeps up and open as we push up, engaging those glutes to open through the front of the hips. And exhale, seize the butt, sit back down to the mat. Let's extend the legs long in front of us. You can have a generous bend in the knees. Toes are flexed, sitting up nice and straight. Breath in, arms reach up. And exhale to hinge at the hips to fold forward. Letting go of any tension in the neck. And releasing hold of the feet if you've got them. We come back up to seated and then we maybe just shuffle forward a little bit before we slowly make our way down to the mat, one vertebrae at a time. Hugging those knees into the chest, maybe taking a gentle rock from side to side. And arms come out to a T, shins parallel to the floor, belly draws in, our reverse tabletop. Knees just drop over to the right into our simple twist. Any variations of a twist are welcome. And breath in, knees draw back up through center. And exhale, they drop over to the left. Knees draw back up through center. Maybe taking one last little hug of the knees into the chest, rocking from side to side, before allowing the legs to spread out long in front of you, getting ready for our Shavasana, palms face up. Or alternatively, you might like to finish in a seated meditation. Yogi's choice today. If you're in Shavasana, making sure that you take up as much space as you possibly can, so really starfish out. And if you're coming to a comfortable seat, either kneeling or cross-legged, making sure that your spine is nice and long. Taking a gentle tuck of the chin if you're seated. Just ever so gentle to extend through the back of the neck. If you're in Shavasana, you are more than welcome to stay there as long as you like. But otherwise, bringing some gentle awareness back to the body by wriggling through the fingers and the toes. And then rolling on to your right hand side. Before pushing up to a comfortable seat, trying to keep those eyes closed. Bobby says it's time to get up. Once you're in seated, hands come to Heart Center Anjali Mudra, palms to touch. Taking a gentle bow of the head. Thank you for practicing with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And funny that Bobby chooses to go off now. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit stronger and more open through those shoulders. Namaste. Bobby, what's up, dude? Luckily he didn't start going off in your Shavasana. Or sorry if you're still going in Shavasana and you're hearing Bobby go off. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for practicing yoga with me. My name's Sarah DeBorre, and come and join me on the mat again sometime soon. If you like this video, think about subscribing to my channel, hitting like below, leaving any comments, and I will see you on the mat again soon. Namaste.